Hopefully my audio is not going to be an issue today. Yeah, we're going to get started here in just a few minutes. Sweet. Looks like that is working. Guys, thank you very much for taking time to join me in today's live. I know I didn't schedule it, in advance like I should, but I appreciate every single one of you for taking time to join. And I am recording this, so I'm going to do my best to make sure that not only is the replay available, but I'm going to try to replace the replay with higher quality recording. Ajushi, thanks for stopping by, man. Really appreciate it. So today I thought I would do a little bit of an experiment, and to give you guys some backstory, right? You guys know that I I need to work really fast in my workflow. So what I like to do is I like to sort of profile my cameras based on the type of delivery that I'm going to do, and then I create a LUT that works for it. And over the years, what I've done essentially is taken that same philosophy or inspiration for the different color looks, and I've created a set of LUTs for things like my Canon EOS R, or my C200, or my C500 Mark II, my C300 Mark II, and so on, my Red. And Steelworks Media, thanks for stopping by, man. Appreciate it. So what I did with this set is exactly the same thing. And thank you, Ajushi, for letting me know that the video sounds good. If the audio at any point is weird, do let me know, and I'll do what I can here to fix it, because, you know, when you're live streaming, there's something always ready to happen. So what I did is I went out with my Canon EOS R5, and I took a number of different clips in different lighting scenarios with different dynamic range values. I shot it all in RAW, and then I set up a project in Resolve. I brought in all the clips and these LUTs that I've been working over time, which, if you guys got the base correction LUT from me for the Canon EOS R5, then you guys have helped me come up with this set, essentially. The feedback was really appreciated, really useful, and it helped me sort of wrangle together the different looks, which is what we're going to go through today. What I have not done is actually looked at how these LUTs affect this raw footage. So I figured I would do it a virtual one. Thanks for stopping by. I figured I would do this live and share it with all of you and use it sort of as a preview. And if these look like they're ready, then I will package them up and make them available for everyone who has been waiting and has been asking about the Canon EOS R5 LUTs. My goal is to have a set of LUTs. The one that we're looking at today is specific for C-Log2, but I want to have a set for C-Log2 from the R5, a set for C-Log3 from the R5, and that should give us the ability to use them whether we're shooting in RAW on the R5 or not, as long as we're shooting in log, of course. So that's the goal. This first pack is going to be specific to C-Log2, and more specifically maybe to the RAW workflow, but that's what this whole experiment is going to be about. So let's dive in and see sort of where we're at. So here is my project, and these are all the different clips that I mentioned that I went on and shot, all different scenarios, different lighting, so that we could sort of figure out how they work. From the scopes or the waveform, you're going to see whether, in fact, I did or didn't clip both the shadows or the dark areas of the image or the highlights. And as you can see, I didn't. And you can also see then how it is that I exposed. So let's start with the first clip. And by the way, just to make sure that I was going to end up with the most accurate version of these LUTs, I made sure that before every clip, I brought out my little video color checker to, you know, sort of double check myself that I did in fact nail things like white balance, and that I didn't like kill the specular highlights. You could see some here where those cars are being hit by the direct sun in the background. So I think we should just jump in. But in case you guys don't know already, I'm just going to do a super quick thing here. If you don't know already, in Resolve, you're able to work on any version of Canon log that you want. If you shoot in RAW, of course. Under the RAW controls, you just switch this over to full res Canon, and instead of project for decode, you use clip. And now all of a sudden, everything is available to you. So you can see here my white balance is as shot. You could see my color space, which is the Canon Cinema Gamut, and then Canon Log2. I can certainly switch if I wanted to. That's the original Canon Log, Canon Log2, and Canon Log3. We're going to be working in Canon Log2. That is how I shot. So to make this super easy and super quick, I figured I would set up the timeline, which I did, and you guys can see here, they're all raw clips. But instead of applying the LUT to each and every single clip, I'm actually going to go to this timeline setting where I have all of the different LUTs already set up. And this will then give us the ability to look at how each of these different LUTs behaves in any of these given environments. So you'll notice the dynamic range of the Canon EOS R5 is pretty good, right? Like I'm keeping cloud detail. The sky is blue behind these clouds. Your cam placement is in the way of that info, Carlos. Oh, okay. Oh, you meant, I see what you're saying. Okay, so check this out. There we go. Thanks for letting me know about that. So this is where I was talking about full res Canon, clip information for decode, white balance as shot, and then this is my color space and the different settings here where you can go Rec 709, Canon Log Original, Canon Log 2, or Canon Log 3. We're going to be working in Canon Log 2. So let me move myself back over here because that'll be the least important area. The areas that you will want to keep an eye on are the waveform back here, because that is how I exposed, okay? So again, now we're in the timeline view here where all of the different LUTs are already loaded. And if I turn on any one of these LUTs, like the Alexa lookalike, we can see very quickly how that works. And I believe if I do this, I get full screen. So I like this. It did take some of my dynamic range out. You can see my forehead. It's lost detail here under my cap. But all in all, whoops, I just went too far. I end up taking off my cap. You gotta love my scar. And of course, it's super awkward. I don't think this is gonna play while I'm streaming. Yeah, I'm not able to play on my iMac Pro rather, in real time. But that's not bad for Alexa lookalike. So I did keep the detail in the clouds. I did lose some detail under my hat here in my forehead area. I can live with that if that's the look I'm going for. My broadcast LUTs, these are the ones I use for most of my corporate work. So here's broadcast 1. That also looks pretty good. Let's see what it looks like full screen. So the colors look, yeah, they look okay to me. Specular highlights are not, let's see what they're doing to the waveform here. I'm not clipping the highlights, and I'm not clipping any of the dark areas of the image. So that's not bad. That's broadcast 1. So this is broadcast 2. I like broadcast 2 better for this particular shot. And again, not clipping any information, which is ideal. And then broadcast 3, this means I get to keep all of my dynamic range. This, by the way, broadcast 3 is the LUT that I use the most on my corporate or TV, like local TV production projects. this specific LUT across any camera that I'm using. Okay, that's actually not bad. Let's see what feature looks like. Okay, you can very quickly tell that feature has a more moody tone, and also that the darker areas of the image are then leaning towards the cyan colors. But again, the dynamic range, that's pretty good, right? I'm in full shadow here. This is the dark side of my face also on top of that. But we're able to maintain sky detail. Yeah, this actually looks pretty good to me. I'm glad, because we've all put in a lot of work on these LUTs. So let's see. Faux Fujifilm. Also stylized. This is not a bad look. Like, for the right project, this is not a bad look. And let's quickly jump to HBO. HBO is one of my favorite of all time. And where I want to make sure, yeah, I did keep the cloud information. I'm not blowing out any of the highlighted areas. I mean, other than like specular highlights here in the vehicle. You guys can see where I'm pointing with the pointer, I think. And then this other bumper here, it's got a specular highlight. Let's see what the waveform, but I'm not clipping any information. So that is the key for the LUT pack, because if the camera is able to capture whatever the dynamic range is, we want to make sure that we're able to keep all of that information so that we can push it around the way that we want to. Or this is a one-click correction, right? Because there aren't any other nodes. And with one click, we're getting these different looks. So this is high contrast. Yeah, and you could totally tell there's going to be more contrast here on my skin tones. But you know what? The tonality of my skin, it's interesting because it's capturing all the different layers of colors in my skin that I see when I'm looking in the mirror. So that's also a good sign. And the oranges are not turning like crazy orange like they do with some LUTs. So that's actually also really good. Cool. So far, I'm liking this. Hey, Shazam, thanks for stopping by, man. Appreciate it. So let's see. We did high contrast. Let's look at faux Kodak. So this is trying to emulate the look of Kodak stock film. And I like it, but you can see that the sky definitely is taking a very, I don't know if, like, it's going towards purple, it feels like, or maybe magenta, like between magenta and blue. And that is one of the characteristics of Kodak film, at least Kodak film that I've used, which is the reason why this looks this way. So let's see here. Low contrast. So in low contrast, I bet you I get to keep more. Yeah, see, I keep more information under my hat under low contrast. You can actually see deep into the brim. Well, I can. I don't know if YouTube is like compressing the hell out of this and it's not coming through. I am, in case anybody is watching on an actual computer, I am streaming this in 4K, and I don't know if it actually makes a difference. But the reason why I'm streaming it in 4K is because, again, I'm going to make this whole video available as a higher quality recording, because I'm recording locally, so that we can actually do that. Hey, Luis, you're in London. Thanks for stopping by, man. Appreciate it. Saludos. Cool. So low contrast does allow me to keep more information in the dark areas without clipping highlights. That's also a really good thing. Mono. So mono is a highly stylized color grade. It's not something that I use very often, but if I need any single color, and typically it's going to be the reds or the magenta side, red-ish side of the color spectrum, that's the color that it's going to try to hone in on and then make pop. That's what mono is going to do as a LUT. So really, it's for very specific use cases, not just broad in general. And by the way, because this is the weekend, and because typically I only do wind downs when I'm doing live streams, I did grab myself a glass of wine. So you all should, if you are in the right time zone, consider maybe grabbing your favorite beverage and taking a sip. I'm going to quench my thirst here for a second. Netflix is another look that I really like. Yeah, it's punchy. It's aggressive. It's made for streaming. It's kind of like, it's one of those looks that's like, it's just in your face. And that's the reason why I like it. And let's see what my actual skin looks like. Okay, it's not bad. I mean, it's punchy, but it's maybe this type of look is better for males than it would be for females. Of course, with the whole COVID thing and trying to stay social distance and you know, all of the different restrictions that we're going through, I couldn't get a model to come out, and so you guys are looking at my mug for what it's worth. I would have if I didn't have restrictions. Excuse me. Okay, nostalgia. This is another stylized look. And I came up with, or I worked on this look specifically for a project that I was working on in healthcare, where they were, it was a drug abuse campaign. They were trying to get people to come in and, you know, basically use their facilities. So this is how this specific LUT actually came to be. So, all right, nostalgia. Would you recommend color correcting before applying a LUT? So the idea behind any LUT, and actually let me just switch the view here, because I think that this is very, very important. Regardless of who you buy LUTs from or if you create your own LUTs, it is really important that two things are spot on before you drop the LUT so that you can actually see what that LUT is able to do with your footage. The first one is white balance. White balance, you need to nail it or you need to correct for it before you apply a LUT so that you end up with the best possible outcome off of whatever LUT you're going to use on your footage. The second thing, and it's probably even more important, is exposure. If you clip highlights, if you clip the shadows, a LUT's not going to help you. So exposure and white balance are key. If you correct those two and then you apply a LUT, then it should work. What we're going through here with my test footage is we're dropping the LUT based on how I captured. So this is, I didn't do any other correction, but I will tell you, I made sure that I nailed my white focus in camera and that I nailed my exposure in camera. So I wasn't careless. I purposely made sure that, you know, I was trying to end up with a almost finished product going into the R5. And this is why dropping these LUTs is not destroying my image. So let's go back and keep looking at these looks here. There we go. All right, so we did nostalgia. Then punch it. Punch it is going to be very punchy. Yep, very, very punchy. You can see, I can still see my eyeballs in the retina in my eyes, but it is for sure a punchy look. That's actually not bad. I mean, now that, you know, I got a little bit of reflection, because there's still detail in my skin tones underneath the cap brim. So I'm kind of digging this. But again, this is more like if you're doing sports maybe, or men specifically. I don't think that this would flatter a lot of women. And we're in the business of making people look as good as they can so that they could keep calling us back and we can continue to make money, right? So just keep that in mind. Teal and orange. Right away, you can see it's incredibly stylized, but it is very much that teal and orange without destroying skin tone colors and trying to stay faithful to the primaries. This is not bad. So far, we got a lot of good news, in my opinion. Ricardo, I have your EOS R. Let's see. How do we add this? There we go. I have your EOS R LUT Pack, and I love it. I will get this one too when available. Awesome. Thanks, man. Really appreciate it. So, yeah, teal and orange. It's not looking too bad. Two-tone. This is another one of those stylized looks that I like to use more like if it's going to be YouTube-specific content. Because, man, this might actually be my favorite so far. Usually HBO is my favorite. I'm really digging this. I can see all the detail in these different dark patches on the color checker. I'm digging it. This is cool. All right. So let's see. Urban. Oh, sweet mama. This is my favorite. Of course, it's called Urban, and we're in an urban setting, so maybe that has something to do with it. This not just looks true to life, this actually looks like it could be cinematic, right? Like I wasn't shooting by myself on a monopod. It even looks like I might have used lighting, and I didn't. This is like indie style, no lighting, just out with the camera. That's not bad. I'm liking it. Okay, but it's all good and done if it works on one clip, but can it work on all the clips? So let's find out together. And again, don't judge me. It's awkward being the subject. So, if I have like weird expressions, it's because I was by myself filming myself. All right, so this we saw, it looks pretty good. That's the first clip. What will the second clip look like? That's not bad. Okay, I have detail in the shadows, like, at the brim. So that's good. I don't see any clipping, and I can see the clouds, and I don't see any chromatic aberration, which generally happens when a LUT breaks. I got to figure out what's happening here in this wall. I don't know if it's shadows or if it's the actual LUT that is doing this. Let's see. Okay, yeah, I guess there are shadows. Different patches. That's interesting. Okay, so that one's all right, I guess. That's not a bad shot. Am I clipping any information here? Oh, I'm close, but not. No highlights are clipped. It's not bad. And by the way, I'm going to show you guys something that I haven't seen anyone show on regarding the R5 coverage. But again, I'm going to, let me move myself out of the way here. I just put myself in the middle. So under decode quality, we're going to go Canon full res and decode using the clip information. I'm going to leave everything else as is. Look at these highlights though, okay? The highlights here on the scopes. This is the raw controls for highlights. As you can see, I haven't changed anything. It's still at 0. Let's see how much we can recover in terms of highlights. That's a lot of highlight recovery. That's how I shot it. And if I needed some highlights to come back, I just recovered over a stop. That's pretty interesting. That's what the highlights recovered. Okay, so let's pay attention maybe to the power, the telephone pole here with whatever these cables are. I don't know if it's power or do people still have landlines? I have no idea. Let's see what that does. I'm going to change this back to the way that I shot it. Oh yeah, check this out. In the pole, there are the cables. You can faintly see them, but they're not really all there. So when I begin to recover these highlights, I mean, I haven't even gone all the way. So I did -55. I can see the cable now much more clearly. And if I go full 100%, yeah, I get a lot more information. That is some powerful highlight recovery coming out of the Canon EOS R5. That's something like I said, no one that I've seen is talking about. The only other camera that I've seen that can do that level of highlight recovery, it's not even my Red. It's the Blackmagic cameras when you click that little checkbox and do highlight recovery. This is kind of blowing my mind right now because this is the first time me actually looking at these clips and going through them with you. So needless to say, I'm impressed. I'm digging this. Okay, what did I just do? No, we don't want that. We want this. There we go. All right, so let's take a look at the next clip. Okay, in my opinion, this LUT needs some work because the gradients on this garage door or this loading dock door need some work. So that's actually good to know because that means we can fine-tune it before we actually release it so that all of you can actually get it. Hey, Tommy, thanks for stopping by, man. Appreciate it. So here's at 35 millimeters. Yeah, that LUT still needs a little bit of work. So we'll get that fixed. Another scenario. This is so awkward. And looking at yourself is even worse, like for me anyway. Hey, James, thanks for stopping by, man. Appreciate it. So let's take a look. This is not bad, but as you can see, there aren't as many gradients as there were in the other shot. So I need to work on the gradients. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. Yeah, you look weird, dude. Okay, so let's see. That's not bad either. Where am I on the highlights? Yeah, I have all the information. I'm not clipping anything, which is good. All right. I'm not mad at it. It needs a little bit of work, but I'm not hating it. Whoops. Where are we? Yep, it looks like the gradients are the area that this specific LUT needs some work on. Okay. All right, I'm going to leave Urban alone for a second. And I'm going to go back. Let's look at two-tone. This is kind of moody and I like it. It's kind of moody. There's still detail in all the dark areas, so I'm not hating it. And again, this is like literally, this is the way that I shot it and I just dropped the LUT, right? So it's a one-click correction. What does teal and orange look like? Yeah, this is, again, not bad. And the detail in the dark areas is nice. The texture is not, it's not losing texture. This is, okay, I can deal with that. Punch it, it's going to be super contrasty. Okay, Punch it takes it like right to that level where I can still see detail in the dark areas, but I need to like focus on them. And maybe it's because I have the studio lights going or whatever. But this, I think it could use a little bit of tweaking too. So we'll tweak that. That's cool. Nostalgia, it's going to be, yeah, okay, so this, if you guys were part of the live stream a little bit ago, when I said that I came up, or I made this look specifically for a drug rehab clinic, this looks like I'm headed to the drug rehab clinic. To me, anyway. That's interesting. Netflix. Okay, so this one should be punchy, contrasty, but yeah, a lot more detail in the dark areas. That's pretty cool. I don't see any other problems with the LUT, or at least this LUT, so that's good. Mono, yeah, it just like totally takes every other tone out except for the magentas. That also needs maybe some tweaking, because look at what's happening here to my skin. That's really weird. So that needs to be fixed. Hey Cesar, thanks for stopping by, and hello Panama. Cool. So let's see. Low contrast. It's going to be, I don't know if this is noise or not, but if it is, then that means I need to tweak this LUT. Let's see. Faux Kodak. I like this LUT. It changed the tone of this brown building though, but I do like it. All right. Let's see what high contrast, well, I think we kind of did that before. There is information in the dark areas, and that's the key. Where's my, yeah, I'm pushing it. I'm like right at 0. But my highlights got clipped. So that LUT needs some work. High contrast. HBO, this one has always been my favorite LUT. Not clipping highlights, not clipping shadows. That's good. Yeah, I got a lot more detail in the dark areas, in the sky even, and in my face. So I'm digging it. I'm digging that. Faux Fujifilm. Again, it changes the colors of the actual building. I don't hate it, but you got to know if you're going to use that LUT, it's going to stylize your image. Okay, my feature LUT. A lot of people like this LUT. I don't use it very often. The image looks good, and my highlights are not clipped. So that's good. Good news. Broadcast, this is what I use for my corporate work. And you can see why, right? Like the information is basically all there. So it helps with TV stations that are still broadcasting in, whatever, 720p or whatever, if they're streaming. I'm not going to go through the other broadcasts, but I'm going to go through the Alexa lookalike, because that one tends to shift towards magenta, and you can see it in my skin. It does. Is my skin really that contrasty? I don't know. I might need to check that out. Okay, I mean, I think so far, good news on this LUT pack. It looks like we're not ready for prime time, but we're getting there, and that's really important. All right, dude, stop showing the bottom of your nostrils. Okay, Alexa lookalike. Not bad. I don't see clipping. Well, let's see what, yeah, no clipping. All right. Broadcast 3, which is the one that I use the most for work. It reduces the contrast a bit, doesn't it? I think it does. My feature. I like this LUT. It's a cool LUT. Just don't use it very often. HBO. I just like that this has more contrast. So to me, a little bit punchier, especially when I'm looking at a guy, it matters. Hey, David, thanks for stopping by, man. Appreciate it. Let's see. We're going to skip low contrast or Netflix. Let's look at Netflix. It's also one of my favorites here. Kind of punchy. I like it. I like this a lot. Yeah, so David says now he just needs to buy an EOS R5. That's funny. R5 is a beast. I really like the camera. The more I use it, seriously, the more I use it, the more I like it. Which is really, really cool. All right, let's see what teal and orange looks like. One thing that you're going to notice with these different LUTs is that even though they are stylizing the look of the whole frame, I do everything I can to protect skin tones because I primarily work with people, right? I guess I do products too when I do car commercials or whatever, but for the most part, like 90% of my work has people in it. So skin is something that I absolutely work really hard at protecting when I'm working on my LUTs. Okay, cool. So let's see, teal and orange. Let's hide you and let's go back to Urban, which was the one I said probably my favorite. And you know what? For these shots so far anyway, Urban is going to be my favorite, my pick. Like if I was working on a project and these were the shots I had to work with, I think Urban would be the look. I mean, assuming that that look is going to get what the client is needing out of you, right? So, okay, I like that. Let's see, what does this shot look like? Oh, so this is like really, really high dynamic range shot, right? Because of where I'm at and where the sun is and which building I'm in front of. So let's see how well these LUTs care for and protect my skin. Urban doesn't look bad at all. There aren't a lot of gradients here, so I can't judge the gradients. Skin, in my opinion, is fine. Primaries look like they're staying true-ish to what they are. No clipped information. Urban gets a pass on this clip. Two-tone. This is punchy. For the right project, this could be a really nice look. Yeah, I still see cloud information, so that's actually good. I'm digging two-tone. Not bad. Teal and orange. Where are we? See, even though teal and like every other color minus the skin tones are going teal and orange. That's kind of cool. So this Steelworks is asking what town is this? So this is actually Fargo. In the background, this is the Fargo Theater. And it's, shoot, what did I just do? The Fargo Theater it's a very old theater that still shows feature films, mostly independent films, but it's got like old school seats and everything. And a lot of people come to town and take pictures by that because it's been there since, I don't know, I guess since Fargo was founded or early-ish when Fargo was founded. I don't know the exact history. Punch it. Of course, it's going to be punchy, but I still see my skin under my cap. I don't know how YouTube is doing this, but this is not bad. Okay, I'm going to skip nostalgia, but I'm going to go to Netflix. Okay, this begins to show you guys like why Netflix is a popular LUT. And a lot of people like to use this LUT, at least a lot of people that keep, tweeting at me or texting me or whatever, because it has a lot of contrast without looking video. And that's why I like this specific LUT. Okay, skipping mono, low contrast, film emulations. I'm not going to show those anymore. HBO. This traditionally had been my favorite LUT to use, period. It looks good in this picture. It's not bad. Okay, and let's see, broadcast 3, because this is what pays the bills. It looks, see, this is why, this is one of the reasons why I like this LUT. It gives it a much more cinematic look. It doesn't clip highlights, so it doesn't do that, try to force and cram everything into Rec 709 by making it even punchier than it needs to be. And it looks way better than anything, in my opinion. Everything is subjective. What I'm saying, of course, is my opinion. In my opinion, it looks better than any of the local broadcasts for the majority of the cities that I've been in. So these LUTs, yes, Steelworks is asking, will these LUTs be available for Premiere? So these LUTs, you can install them on Final Cut, you can install them in Resolve, or you can install them on Premiere, or you can even install them on your monitor so that when you're actually, out there shooting or, working on your projects, you can preview what it would look like if you were going to use one of these specific LUTs. I use Broadcast 3, which is how I set my exposure, typically not on the R5, but on the C500 Mark II. So I monitor with that LUT because I know that when I bring it into post, all I have to do is drop the LUT and my workflow is done. I could render or I could cut as needed and then render. And that's the reason why I use them to monitor. So what was I saying? So this looks, in my opinion, better than local broadcast. So let's switch back here, share the screen. Okay, broadcast 3 looks okay. And let's see Alexa look like. Bam. Not bad, but the Alexa skin tones, they are more magenta. And on dark complected people like me, it's not bad, but they're there. They are there. So these LUTs, so this is basically a preview. And what we're doing here is we're sort of experimenting and taking a look at the LUTs, the LUT pack as it's being developed. And what I wanted to try to do here is get a little bit of feedback and take a look at these clips for the first time. Son of a gun, why do I keep doing that? For the first time with you all, so that I can figure out what needs to be tweaked before we actually make the LUT pack available to all of you. Because as you know, it takes a bit of work. Okay, so this, again, direct sun. So this is going to be interesting. Let's see what Alexa look like. That's not bad. That's not bad. Okay, Luis, thanks for stopping by, man. Really appreciate it. I know this is getting a little long. I'm going to try to speed it up here. Okay, Alexa lookalike looks good. Broadcast 3. This is another one, or the one that I use for work the most. this actually looks good to me too. So we're actually in really good shape here. So thanks again, Luis. We'll catch you later, dude. Take care. HBO LUT. Not bad. We're close, guys. We're close. I have a feeling, well, if I just apply myself tomorrow for a good 2 hours, I could probably finish these and make them available. This is also good. I'm not hating them. I thought I was going to have a lot more work to do, and it looks like I'm closer to a completion than I thought. This is looking good. I mean, what do you guys think as you guys are seeing them here pop up on the screen? And of course, we're dealing with the whole YouTube compression thing, but do you guys think you guys think we're on the right track? I hope so. Two-tone. Yeah, this looks sharp to me. Cool. Let's see here. Urban. Urban allows us to keep the most dynamic range, is what I'm noticing as we're going through these shots. Okay, so I, of course, did a whole bunch of outdoor shots. That's still outdoors. Oh, let's see what this looks like. I'm curious. So the main reason why I'm curious, oh, that look. Ah ha ha. Yeah, we're gonna take a look at some indoor footage here in just a second. In fact, after this, I'm gonna jump to indoor footage so we can see what that actually looks like. So James, yes, I use 800 ISO mostly because when I'm using the R5, I'm also working with the C500 Mark II. So that allows me to have similar exposure, which really in the end for me means a faster workflow, because if I don't have to do two separate corrections, I can do one blanket correction, then I can move a lot faster and pump out content much faster. So that's the reason why I use ISO 800. And you know what? Maybe if there's enough interest, if you guys want, I'll put all these clips up and you guys can download them and you guys can, mess around with them if you want. Let me know, or leave a thumbs up or something so I know that you guys are interested. Okay, so Urban. Why? Son of a gun, I keep doing that. Why this matters is because the sunlight is hitting directly into the river here in the background. I'm in full shadow. And, we have people that claim that the dynamic range on the Canon EOS R5 is horrible. This shot is proving otherwise very, very quickly. Yeah, you could see my waveform, it's stretched. Like it's, All right, so Urban looked good. Two-tone. Quickly, Carlos. Move. Two-tone, I don't hate it. This looks good for this scene. Not bad. Teal and orange. Again, I don't hate it. This looks good. And I'm not clipping information, right? I'm right at the edge, but I'm not clipping it. That's not bad. I'm going to go to Netflix. Yep, so you guys can see this is why this is called Netflix. Cool. So far, so good. I mean, I'm not hating it. I thought I was going to, seriously, I thought I was going to have a lot more problems. I guess is the best way to put that. HBO. HBO is a nice LUT. Feature. Yeah, this is also not bad. I'm digging it. I'm digging it. This is good. Broadcast 3, gotta pay bills. Here we go. This is probably the most true to life, and it looks good. I'm not hating it. Alexa lookalike quick. Bam. That looks good. Sweet. Let's find some indoor clips so that we can say we did it. Not just say we did it, but actually do it. So let's see here. All right, so this is the Alexa lookalike. This is how the scene was captured. The sunlight is coming, like it's just blasting in from this window right here. So this is the only source of light, and then you can see a reflection here. That's from another window that's on the other side of the room, or of that room, which is the kitchen. And then the other reflections that you see here, this is our bedroom, and that there's also a window that is pushing light in there. So this is how it was captured. Let's see what Alexa lookalike looks like. This is kind of what my eyes saw, except I'm noticing some noise problems here. So I'm going to have to work on that. That's actually not that hard to fix, believe it or not. Broadcast 3, paying bills, same issue. So it looks like the gradients are going to be our trouble spots. It's not bad. And I have room here to play with them. So that's even better. Okay, broadcast 3, feature. I don't see problems with feature. So that one might be good to go. HBO. More detail in the dark areas. I don't know if you guys are seeing like a really dark image or not, because I'm looking at a preview on this monitor, and it looks darker than it actually does on my iMac. So I'll have to check out the live stream afterwards, or maybe when I upload the higher quality version, it'll actually look better. So let's see what Netflix looks like. This looks good. Shit. It looks darker on my preview screen than it does on the iMac. That's not bad. Huh. Teal and orange. Okay. Teal and orange looks really good. This one looks like it's done. I mean, for this shot, right? Or did we find any? I don't think I found any problems on any of the other shots. That would actually be a really long live stream there, Steelworks Media. And I don't know how many people would, like, I guess if there's enough interest, we'll do it. Why not? Let's do it. Let's make it happen. Urban looks good for indoors. That's not bad. Okay, another indoor shot. Oh, this is just a 35 millimeter version. All right, so this is now tungsten. Totally awkward. Yeah. Well, we're just going to deal with it because we're doing this in the name of finishing up the LUT pack so that we can make it available to everyone. What does this look like? It looks like my white balance is on the edge. And that's because there are two different color lights that are in this bathroom. These bar lights, and then there's one above, and they're both different color temperatures. They're close, but they're not the same. I don't hate it. Two-tone. Looks a little washed out to me. What does the vector scope look like? Yeah, that one might need tweaking for indoors. But it's two-tone, so maybe not. Teal and orange. I don't like the way this one's behaving at all indoors in this type of light. So that one will absolutely need to be tweaked. Punch it. Punch it is punchy. Netflix. Okay. That's not bad. It looks like the white balance missed. So that's something I'd have to fix before this LUT could actually work on that clip. Let's see. HBO. Oh shit, I should turn off Netflix. Otherwise, we're not going to get. HBO looks good. So maybe that's why everybody likes HBO, because it just actually does look good. Thank you for pointing that out there, James Jackson. I will definitely take a look at it after this live stream so that I don't end up taking everybody's complete time. Feature. Okay, feature looks okay to me. Broadcast 3, paying bills. Yeah, not bad. I guess that's not bad. And Alexa lookalike. Or is that where we started? Alexa lookalike looks the best in this indoor shot. To me, to my eye, on that screen. But the whole key, of course, is, you know, there are people that bought like the C200 Pro LUT Pack. These LUTs need to match those LUTs so that if they're working with the C200 in the Canon EOS R5, they can drop the same name LUT on each of the different footages and then be able to, you know, finish out their project. So I think that that's important. And let's see. All right, so here's another indoor shot with the outdoors. Share screens here. With the outdoors in full sun. And I did use artificial light here. So I have a very small handheld light aimed at myself to get this shot so that I could not clip the sun in the background. So that was Alexa lookalike. That looked okay to me. Broadcast. It's amazing what professional lights do, and I don't know if Tommy Calloway is still here, but if Tommy is still here, there's a reason why he pushes light so much, because the difference between a pro light, which is what's hitting my face here and lighting this scene, and what this looks like versus the bathroom lights that are just, you know, the lights that happen to come with the vanities that we purchased, is night and day. Like, this helps video. The regular house lights, they just don't. Practicals, if you could avoid practicals on skin tones, you're gonna be a lot happier, in my opinion. Okay, so broadcast 3 looks good to me. HBO. Yeah, see, pro lights just look so much better. So much better. I like it. I like that a lot. Low contrast mono Netflix. yeah, this works for me. So had I used on all my indoor shots actual lights, I would be happier, and Tommy would agree, I think. This also looks good. So that's actually going to be a disclaimer to anyone who chooses to purchase the LUT Pack. If you're going to buy the LUT Pack, use professional lights and you're going to be a lot happier, or use sunlight and reflect it and you're going to be a lot happier with the performance of the LUTs. That's not bad. I can see detail all the way to the back of my head, right above my ear, on the dark side, the non-key side of my face. That's actually really, really, really good. Cool. Well, guys, I think that for a preview, that's probably enough for tonight. I think we know, or at least I know, what it is that I need to work on to make these LUTs available so that you all can, start using them and start experimenting. So I really do like that. Steelworks just made a comment that I think I want to address. It's good to see what they look like under practical lights, though. So that's true. The challenge with practical lights in general is that there aren't any standards, right? So like one light bulb manufacturer to another, or even different models between the same manufacturer, they're all over the board. The frequencies might be different if they're LEDs. If they're not LEDs and they're like old school regular light bulbs, do they even sell those anymore? They also have very different characteristics. So for me, when I use practicals, when I have to use practicals, I bought a set of light bulb practicals from Westcott. And that's what I've been using. So if I'm in a situation like, not in our home because we have Philips hues all over our house, but if I was in a situation where I had to go into a home, like a real estate shoot or something, and I needed to film in that real estate shoot, I would, one, not turn on the practicals unless they were definitely not going to touch my talent's skin. And if there was a chance that they would touch my talent's skin, then I would use these practicals that I bought from Westcott that are going to then be matched to my Westcott lights or my light set that I would bring along with me on those types of productions. With Aperture releasing the new light bulb looking fixture, I think that might be a good, alternative or way of doing things. If you want to go that route, I think I bought like a 10 light bulb set from Westcott for under $100. So because I'm kind of cheap and I like to keep the profit as healthy as possible, I might not jump and go replace those that are working well for me with Apertures. But if you don't have any, I believe the Aperture ones they look nice from the reviews that I've seen so far. So that's one thing. Then the other thing that happens a lot, it seems to me like it happens a lot, every time that I've been in a real estate shoot, the bathrooms, the light temperatures in the bathrooms are all over the board. And sometimes something like the light that is in the shower versus the light that's in the vanity versus, the light that's in the walk-in closet, because there are some homes that have walk-in closets in their bathrooms. They're all different colors, and it just drives me nuts. It drives me nuts because I realize that that's going to be more work if I use them. But that's also why we then travel with, more lights in case we need them, so that we don't end up using the practicals. So whenever possible, avoid practicals, particularly if the practical is going to touch at all or even come close to skin tones. Cool. So at this point, guys, again, I want to thank everybody for hanging in there and going through this with me, and for the feedback that I got during the live stream. I'll be sure to upload a higher quality version so that we can hopefully see what I was seeing on YouTube, not just through whatever compression live stream has to go through. And as soon as, well, I'll just make a commitment that I'm going to work on these tomorrow. And hopefully, if it all works out, I'll do a very, very quick YouTube video saying, hey, by the way, this LUT pack is out and available. And if you want to see how these LUTs behaved, or at least the beta version of the LUTs, then you should check out this particular live stream now. Again, thanks everybody for hanging in there. Really appreciate you all. And thank you, Josh, for the comment about the live stream setup. Really appreciate it. You guys are all awesome. Thank you all for your support over time. And of course, the goal here really is that we all share knowledge, content, and experience so that we can all level up together. This is why I'm doing this. This is why I put it out on YouTube, and why I make the assets that I work with on a regular basis available to all of you. So until next time, thanks for stopping by. Have a good rest of your weekend, and I'm going to finish off my glass of wine. Take care.